Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and today I'm back with part 2 of heavy scents that I love to wear in the summertime. So I've got 10 more here, and I did have to get into my travel sprays because there were some that I just knew I only had a travel spray of, and they had to be included. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the full bottles, and I'm gonna start with a Britney Spears fragrance first. This is Britney Spears Fantasy. This is just the original formulation. I do have the stage edition as well, which is, no, I'm sorry. This is the reformulated version. I do have stage edition as well, which is the original formulation. I love this scent, and I used to wear this way back, like when it first came out. I was in my, you know, like mid-20s or so, early to mid-20s, I would say, when this came out. And I went through a phase where, after I had worn Stella for so many years, I went through a phase where I wanted to start wearing perfumes that were more youthful and not so mature smelling, because Stella was such a mature smelling perfume. And I don't want to say mature in the way that it smelled like mature, but it was just a very like grown woman scent. And I had been wearing it for so long at that point that I was really craving like more youthful scents. And right around that time this came out, and I bought this. I think I got it at Walmart when it first came out, and I loved it. It's such a fun scent. This is kiwi and like vanilla cupcake frosting, or like vanilla cupcake or something like that. The reformulated version is much more kiwi heavy though. Yes, I love this. This version is much more kiwi heavy. The stage edition is much more like vanilla frosting heavy. I love them both. I absolutely love the new formulation though in the heat. But it is quite a heavy perfume. You wouldn't think so. It's not a perfume that you would think is heavy, but it is. It's quite a heavy perfume, especially the stage edition version with that really heavy like frosting note in it. But even the reformulated version is quite heavy. It's very sweet, sticky smelling, dense. It's quite a heavy perfume. I love it. I love it more in the heat than I do in cold weather. It's one of those, it smells sticky even in the heat. It smells sticky, sweet, very sweet. It's a very sweet perfume, and I just adore it. I think it is incredible in hot weather, and I love it. This is a fragrance that I think is still going strong. I feel like it's definitely standing the test of time, and I love it. My beautiful friend Jacqueline sent me this huge bottle of it before I had only had a travel spray of the new formulation. So I was so happy to have this big huge bottle because I love this scent. It is so good. It brings back so many like nostalgic memories from that time in my life. So anyways, that is Britney Spears Fantasy, the new formulation. Okay, next we have this one here. This is a Dream House Acuria scent. I wear this all year round, but I particularly love this one in the heat. This is White Rabbit, and oh my gosh, I love this scent. This is borderline indolic white florals and caramel, and like a caramely vanilla base. This one goes on, when you first spray this one on, it goes on as almost heading towards indolic white florals, jasmine, gardenia, and then as this one wears on the skin, it dries down in gourmand territory. It ends up, it's very hard to explain, but that's what it is, and it is fantastic. It radiates off your skin in the heat, and I just love it. I love this in the heat the most. My beautiful fragrance friend Tatiana actually sent this bottle to me, and this was how I discovered Dream House Acuria in the first place. She sent this bottle to me, and I was obsessed, immediately obsessed. This was one of the best fragrances I had smelled in such a long time up until that point, and I was so excited about the house after that, and I have just been in love with the house ever since. And this is just such an incredible scent. I can't even tell you. So anyways, that is White Rabbit from Dreamhouse Curio, just fantastic. Okay, next, this is so good in the heat, but it is quite a heavy scent. This is from Christian Dior, and this is Dune. This is actually a bottle of the original formulation that was sent over from a subscriber. Actually, both of my bottles of Dune were sent over from subscribers. Yeah, this is the original formulation, and then I have a big bottle of the new formulation. I love them both. I think they're both incredible. I do prefer the original formulation more, just because this original formulation is fantastic. Yeah, this original formulation is it's beautiful. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the new formulation as well. This is such a warm, spiced. I have worn this in the colder weather, but I do prefer this in hot weather. There's something so comforting and cozy and very desert-like smelling about this perfume. It's old school smelling. It definitely has a vintage quality to it. It's definitely like a 80s, 90s smelling type perfume, but I love this. It's heavy. It's a heavy, like dry, almost dry, but kind of lightly spiced, warm perfume. I think it's got some rosewood in it. Dior uses rosewood a lot in their fragrances, and I do think this one has rosewood in it as well. But it's warm, it's kind of slightly woody. It smells like the desert. It's kind of dry, and it's heavy, and it is fantastic. I love this. I love layering this over just any kind of lotion. It's beautiful. The original formulation is definitely fantastic, but I love the new formulation as well. So anyways, that is Christian Dior Dune. Okay, this next one, I have to be careful with this one because I can make myself sick with this. This is a fragrance, this is actually a Tommy Bahama fragrance, and this is just the original Tommy Bahama for her. This is a pretty identical dupe for Viva La Juicy, like the extrait formulation of Viva La Juicy, which is a really, really strong, really sweet version of Viva La Juicy, which is already a really sweet perfume. But this is like Viva La Juicy amped up even more. I love this. I love it most in the hot weather. This one will actually make me sick if I try to wear it in cold weather. It's just one of those fragrances that it needs the heat to kind of keep it in check. If it is cold out, it's too much of everything. It's too heavy, it's too sickly sweet. It's not good. But I love this in the heat. It is perfection. It's heavy, it's very, very sweet. It's like Viva La Juicy, but way amped up. And Viva La Juicy is already a very sweet perfume and heavy in its own right, but this is like an extrait formulation of it, and I love it. I love it in the heat. It's not good in the cold though. I can get a good, 6 or so hours out of this one. It's not the best performing fragrance in the world, but it's not the worst either. I think 6 hours is completely fine. But thankfully the heat does kind of keep this one in check. So anyways, that is Tommy Bahama, just the original Tommy Bahama for her. I really like this little bottle too. I think it's very cute with it's meant to look like a shell with like a little pearl in it. It's very cute. Okay, this next one, I also love this fragrance in the heat. I'll wear this any time of year, but I like this in warm weather better than I do cold weather. This is a fragrance from Belayered, and this is Caramel Overdose, which is their clone of Killian Love Don't Be Shy, which is such a yummy orange blossom, like marshmallowy, sweet, smooth orange blossom scent. It's so beautiful. And of all of the clones that I've smelled, Caramel Overdose, in my opinion, is the best one because this one's really, really smooth and syrupy. I love it because it's heavy. It's really sweet, but not overpoweringly sweet. And it is just beautiful in the heat. I love wearing this in the hot weather. This thing is an absolute beast too. I can get a good 8, 10, 12 hours out of this fragrance. It lasts forever. As far as all the clones of this fragrance go, I do prefer this one the most. I just think that there's something so beautiful about this one. It's very smooth, but very syrupy, and I love it. It's a heavy scent, it's cozy, it's warm, it's delicious smelling, and it's perfect in the hot weather. So anyways, that is Belayered Caramel Overdose. This next one, this is actually most definitely a fall fragrance, but this is a fragrance that I wore all last summer, and I had forgotten about it until I went to do this video, and then I was like, what is that fall fragrance that I wore all last summer that I love in the heat, but it's not appropriate? And well, it's not that it's not appropriate, but it is not a hot weather scent at all. It is this one here from CJ Scents, and this is called Boo. I am obsessed with this fragrance. This might be my most favorite, like, fall, gourmand, pumpkin-y, spiced fragrance in my collection. I'm pretty sure that this is my favorite because that's what this is. This is like spiced pumpkin and marshmallowy vanilla. It is so good. It is fall in a bottle, but I love this scent in the heat. It is so good in hot weather. And usually, because I'm in the South, by the time, as soon as we get into fall, most of our fall is hot. It doesn't really start cooling down here until like November, December most of the time. So it's gonna be hot no matter what. I can wear this in the middle of summer, I can wear it in the fall. It's basically gonna be the same weather here because it stays hot for way late into the year. So I'm wearing this in the hot weather regardless, which I think is why last year I was like, I'm just gonna pull it out and wear it all summer because it doesn't matter. I'm wearing it in the hot weather either way. And it's so good in the hot weather. It is delicious. It's creamy, fluffy, sweet, spiced pumpkin. It's so good. I love all of my CJ Scents perfumes. Pumpkin tobacco, I'll rock that in the middle of the summer. And I don't know that I've tried my Pumpkins Night Out in the summertime. I'm gonna have to pull that out and try that one too, but I love this. This is one of my, like, very firmly a fall scent that I wear all summer. I'm obsessed with this fragrance, and I'm glad I did this video so that I could remember that I love to wear this in the summertime. So anyways, that is CJ Scents, and that is called Boo, and it is so good. Okay, and then the last like full bottle that I have is this one here. This is Sand and Sable, and I love this scent. Now, don't get me wrong, this is definitely not what it used to be. It still smells the same, but it's just not as heavy as it used to be. I don't know, it's not as like pungent smelling as it was in the 80s and even the 90s, but it still smells like Sand and Sable, which again is kind of like an almost indolic white floral, beachy white floral. Old school. This is what the Jennifer Aniston perfume smells like, but Jennifer Aniston is like light. It's like a light, airy version of Sand and Sable. This is like heavy. This is heavy, again, borderline indolic, beachy, 80s. It's so good. I love this one. This is one, I just picked this up last summer, so I need to pull this one out and give this one some love while it's still really hot out. Well, it's gonna be hot out for a good long time, but yeah, I love this scent. This is definitely old school smelling, but there are so many fragrances, like modern fragrances, that have been made to smell like this, but this is the original. This one it's so good. And back then, most fragrances were heavy. You didn't really have freshies. You didn't really have, you know, these kind of light, wispy fragrances like we do now. This was like a lighter fragrance back then. but it's quite heavy. I love it. It's so good. So anyway, and I remember you used to be able to get this in like a body oil, if I remember correctly. And if you layered all of that, holy cow, you were like nuclear. So good. So anyways, that is Sand and Sable from, I think it's Cody. Yeah, Cody, Sand and Sable. Okay, and then let's get into the travel sprays that I have. This, when I thought about doing a part 2 to this video, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do a part 2. This is a fragrance that I have from, this is DefineMe is the house, and this is their Mulan fragrance. You can only find this in a travel spray. I don't know if Ulta still has this one or not, but this perfume, I have smelled like a couple other fragrances like this, but this is like the strongest, heaviest scent like this that I've ever smelled. This is like I'm not totally sure what is in this, and they don't have it on Fragrantica. You can't find it on the Ulta website anymore. I'll find the notes somewhere and I'll have them on the screen for you, but this is like I think it's got yuzu in it, possibly. It's got a really bright citrus in the top. It's got flowers in the middle, but the florals they're more of like a kind of a dry, astringent type floral. Feel like this has some kind of a fruit in it too, like maybe pomelo or another like fruity citrus. It's so beautiful. It's very bright and refreshing, but it's very heavy. It's got a heaviness to it, and I love it. It's like it's a weird combination of like a light, kind of astringent smelling floral, but that's heavy. It's hard for me to explain, but I love this scent. I'm so sad that you can't find this anymore. And I don't know why they didn't make it into like a full bottle. All I've got is this travel spray. Thankfully, it's so strong, you only need a couple sprays and you're done. Like, this travel spray will probably last me the rest of my life because you do not have to overspray with this one. It's really strong. It's beautiful. I love this one. So anyways, enough about that. That is the Disney Mulan from DefineMe fragrance. Okay, this next one, I don't want to say that this one is really heavy, but it's got a heaviness to it. This is a fragrance from Salvador Dolly, and this is called Lagona. And it is heavy. For being like a hot weather fragrance, it is heavy. This is another weird one because it's like fresh, but it's got a creaminess in the base. So this is kind of like a fresh aquatic scent, but with like a heavy creaminess in the base. It's really, really strange, but I love this scent. In fact, I'm gonna be leaving these out because I haven't worn this one in such a long time, and I love it. That's part of why I love this one so much, because it's a kind of creamy, cozy, slightly heavy, warm weather fragrance. It's so good. I feel like this is so underrated. I feel like Salvador Dali perfumes in general are very underrated. Eau de Ruby Lips is like a pretty close dupe for the Scent of Peace from Bond Number 9 that like nobody ever talks about. I have Eau de Ruby Lips too, and it is fantastic, and you can find full bottles of it for like 12 bucks. I mean, the Salvador Dali fragrances are just so good. I love them. So anyways, that is Salvador Dali Laguna. I also have this one, I keep forgetting about it, but a subscriber sent it over, and it's something, it's like an ocelot, something l'ocelot perfume, and I believe it's a Dolly perfume, and it's very old school, and I love it. And then last but not least, I have a Sucre Bay perfume. In fact, I think I'm gonna film that right after this one. We're gonna talk about indie houses, some of my favorite indie houses. Sucre Bay is definitely one of them. But anyways, this is a fragrance from Sucre Bay, and this is called Odling, and this is a coconut perfume. And this is a heavy coconut perfume. Oh my gosh, I love this fragrance so much. This has got like, it's got a coconut CO2 note in it, and then I think it's got like a coconut pulp note in it as well. It's a heavy, heavy coconut fragrance. Heavy, creamy, almost kind of slightly boozy smelling, but I don't think that there's, I don't remember. I don't think that there's like a booze note in this. There might be, but this is a heavy, creamy, not overly sweet coconut. It's not a super, it's sweet, but it's not overly sweet. It's so good. It's a heavy coconut perfume. It is one of my favorite coconuts of all time. I'm super sad because I left this out of my coconut perfume video. I usually always remember to include this in my coconut videos because this is one of my favorite coconut scents of all time. It is fantastic. It's so good. Like, I cannot recommend this coconut perfume enough. It's got such a high concentration of oils in it too. When you put it, like, you can see when I put it on my hand, it's like I'm rubbing oils around because it's got so much perfume oil in it. It's so good. It's so good. Just one of the best coconuts ever, and it's a heavy coconut. This is like, it's kind of like my Sage Lifestyle Onyx. Not in this, not that they smell a lot alike, but just, it's that kind of a dark, heavy coconut. It's so good. It's so good. So anyways, that is Sucre Bayodling. And that is going to be it, you guys. Those are 10 more heavy fragrances that I love to wear in the summertime. I do hope that you all enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.